Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm having a really hard time getting my batteries to a full charge because I have them wired up off of my truck. They come in through this wire, go to this, which is an isolator, so that it charges but doesn't backfeed into my truck. But when I wired it up, I was cheap and used these. So I'm going to get rid of those. And a couple other my wires were both the same thing. And if I want to get to bigger batteries to eventually go up to group 31s instead of group 27s, which I have now, finding a lot of them have 3/8 posts instead of the 5/16 ones. These are the 3/8 holes. And one of these has 5/16 on. Anyways, yeah, so this would be the 5/16 hole, and this would be the 3/8 hole. So I'm gonna change all them over to 3/8 holes. That way they're all good to go, and I'm going to properly crimp them and properly solder them in because I'm good at what I do and I just use the vise. So I'm gonna do it properly this time. So a few of these already have the 3/8 ends on them, but they are extremely loose on the wire. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna heat them up, throw some solder in them so they're not so loose, and so I can actually get a good connection and hopefully get a good charge going along. See how that goes. And because I'm a cheap redneck and Canadian Tire didn't have all the 3/8 terminals I needed, time to drill. Okay, so got all the wires resoldered. So what I did was I took all the connections off of all of my stuff here, took them into the garage, got them all heated up, resoldered. I actually had to change out this one here because the wire that I bought off Amazon said it was 4 gauge, and it is most definitely not. So got that switched out for an actual 4 gauge one. This one actually runs to the front of the truck. It's got a connector that goes connects in my box, and then goes my alternator, which all this is just an isolator so that it doesn't backfeed into my truck, or so that I never drain my truck battery. I don't think this is working 100% because I'm never getting a full charge from the front anyways. So I have a 40 amp DC to DC charger coming in. Should be here in about a week. Give you an update on that. This is for when I plug into shore power or when I run off of inverter power. So when I plug into shore power, this will automatically switch over, and when I unplug and turn my inverter back on, it'll switch back. The reason why I went with this instead of just an automatic one, or like just a small one, is so that just in case I can do this manually, I can just switch it over to manual, and then I can just flip-flop it back and forth. This is just my little sawn off. It is for mainly, well, actually, I had Google Home up in the roof there. I had it when I was connected to a constant internet access. It would control my lights, and it would control my fan here so that this would suck in hot air from the diesel heater, keep everything at a decent temperature. This is a sensor for that fan, so when I can't remember what I have it set at. I think I have it set for like 15 degrees, so when it gets to about 15 degrees in here, it'll actually turn this fan off. It's actually sucking really warm air. Kind of a cluster of wires, so just 1000 watt inverter kind of does the job. Nothing great. I want to go to 2000 because my microwave is a little bit bigger. It really does not like running the microwave, and I was planning on going to 2000 watt eventually, just so that I could use more common household products for when I get to it. And then in here I have 40 amp MPPT Renogy charger, solar charger. Bought that one just because I know with the whole solar panel stuff, you really want to go brand name with whatnot. And I didn't really want to mess around with all that stuff. I wanted to make sure that was one of the most important things that I had in here. I have 2 Group 27 batteries. Eventually I'd like to get up to the Group 31s. But these will do for now, and that's why I did a lot of the drilling out of the ends and adding the 3/8 ends to whatever I needed here, just so that when I do move up to the Group 31s, that it'll just be a lot easier for me to do that. Got my fuse panel here. I don't even remember what it's all hooked up in that. Eventually, when I stop procrastinating, I'll get around to actually labeling that stuff. But until then, it's gonna look the same. Yeah, a lot of this is for my phone chargers and stuff, like my USB chargers that are in the walls and whatnot. Those tie into there. Basically, a lot of the 12-volt stuff that I have all runs through that. Down here is a stint, and that just reads what I'm pulling out for like what I'm using for voltage. That way, up on the meter up here, I can actually tell what I'm using. A little low because I haven't ran the truck in a while, and I was in shade for a long time. But so I have that, and then that way it tells me what I'm actually using, and then of course the fancy Chinese diesel heater controller.